Valentine's Day was yesterday, and we got a new Drake drop. First Drake project post beef. I know we got some features here and there on Camila Cabello's project and
Hold on.
Gordo's.
Ethan, can I shut something up real quick? Because I saw something on Twitter that was just so disrespectful.
Come on.
I saw someone ask the question, who had the better post-beef album drop? And you know what?
Let's get into the album. I'm not even trying to compare that shit to GNX right now. Let's talk about this project first.
Go ahead.
Because Aubrey's angels at attorneys at law, they're gonna be blowing this shit up. So let's relax. Calma. Let's lock in here. Right. Yeah, let's lock in here. I've gotten a chance to listen to this project around 2 or 3 times. And I think it's cool. If anything, it's more Drake featuring Party. I would have loved to hear Party a lot more. It's similar to how I felt with Vultures, with Kanye and Ty Dolla $ign, not Ty Dolla $ign. In this project, it's similar. I don't think it's enough Party. Drake's very much in his slow Toronto R&B bag, which I appreciate. But I don't know if I want 21 tracks of it. I'm gonna be honest. I know the type of magic these two can produce, especially when they've done it in the past on projects like If You're Reading This Too Late. And I think the first Party album, P1 or P2, these two can make some magic together. And I don't think there's enough of it on this project. I think if this album was maybe 12 or 13 tracks, maybe it'd be a lot more digestible. And this album probably should have came out 10 years ago. It's a little 10 years too late between Drake and Party. I feel like this sound is kind of passed them both by. Even though this is very much Toronto R&B, it's very much Party. I prefer Party's last album to this. I prefer Drake's last album to this, and I wasn't even the biggest fan of For All the Dogs. I don't go in here with the highest of expectations. My favorite tracks, though, because I don't want to make it come across as I'm just shitting on the whole project, but Deeper, great Party track. What was the other? Because I thought like 2 or 3 joints I really fucked with on here. Deeper, I loved. Give Me a Hug. Drake smoked that shit. The first beat, smoked that shit. Give Me a Hug is probably the best track off of there. I really liked Somebody Loves Me. Those 3 tracks, I enjoyed a lot. The rest, I don't know. Maybe I gotta listen to some more, see if there's some other tracks that I enjoy. But those 3 are definitely the standouts for me.
All right. Well, let me tell you how I feel about it, man. Because this album, I had kind of low expectations going into it, but there was a little bit of excitement of like, okay, Drake's dropping on Valentine's Day with PARTYNEXTDOOR. And I was like, maybe Drake can really recover from this beef with a good album. I don't think this is the case at all, man. There's just a lot of the things that you said are just right for me. It's too late for this album to come out, especially in like this point in their careers. If they would have dropped this earlier, when Party was at the top of his game, when Drake before all of this shit, this would be everywhere. Because musically, it's not horrible. It's like you said, that Toronto R&B vibe, and I'll tell you, I got 14 tracks deep, before I stopped listening to it. And you know what song made me turn it off?
Let me guess. Hold up. I already know.
You already know.
Let me guess. I already know. Was it Meet Your Padre? This
is the next one.
You didn't like Nokia?
That's the one where he's singing in Spanish, right?
No, Meet Your Padre is where
that's Meet Your Padre. Okay, never mind. Okay, yeah, that's the one then. Yeah.
I hated that song.
Bro, never let Drake ever touch the Spanish language ever again. Please stop. I'm so tired of it, man. He's just it's so bad, dude.
I was out there when you said Nokia. I left Nokia off whenever I was saying my favorite songs off the album, but Nokia is pretty good. But I thought you were gonna say, Meet Your Padre. Right before Nokia. That.
Sorry, I got to Meet Your Padre and went skip. We're going right to Nokia. As soon as I heard Drake sing in Spanish, I was like, I do not need to hear any more of this. Yeah, and then so this is the thing about Give Me a Hug too, is I thought the production was awesome. I thought Drake was doing his thing, flowing, but this is the first thing we've kind of heard him say referring to the beef, I guess. And he kind of just said, like, I'm off of rap beef. I'm just worried about making bangers, worried about being in the club, doing all these things. And to me, it's just like, you're proving Kendrick's point. Everything you're doing on this album is just continuing to prove Kendrick's point.
But see, I'm not trying to be on that type of. I get what you're saying, but I'm trying to keep this separate from the beef.
No, I get it. I know.
But like, they're both superstars before the beef. I'm trying not to do that, Gage.
But why is he mentioning this on a Valentine's Day album? Keep this shit completely separate. If this is sexy songs for you, I don't want to hear anything about Kendrick. This is supposed to repair his image. And for me, if this was just 12 tracks, pick the 12 best tracks off this with Party and Drake on here with more central themes about love, we're talking about one of Drake's better albums in the last 5 years, but it's not that.
Yeah, see, you're gonna make me sound like Aubrey's Angels right now. I think it's fine for him to reference the beef. I think it's fine. It happened, right? I have more so problems with him shooting at other artists, especially when Kendrick continues to take shots at him. But I don't even think that's the case here. I think you need to cut Aubrey some slack, man. Like, you need to cut him
too much slack, man. I've cut him too much slack.
Because I just don't think this is mediocre
album. I know Drake, after mediocre album for me,
but I think Drake fans are happy with this. Drake fans are happy with this. I'm saying it like I'm not a Drake fan. Like, I think Project is cool. Like I said, I got my 3 or 4 songs. My expectation for Drake Project has definitely lowered through the years. Like, but at the same time, it's not a bad album. It's really not for me. It's really not. But to constantly bring it back to the beef, like, see, this is why I'm with Aubrey's Angels. I'm not trying to put them they're going to be together now for the rest of the time.
Yeah.
You can't mention one without the other. That's what I'm like, to even compare this to a project like GNX when they're not even the same genre is not fair.
And okay, so see, that's what I was going to say, to cut Drake some slack of like comparing these albums is not fair because they're completely different albums. But again, it's just, to me, the quality of it. Like, I know this isn't a horrible album. Like I said, I got 13 tracks deep before I was like, I can't listen to it anymore. But it's just, we know what Drake can do. We've seen him do better. We've seen him put more work into his music. And to me, I'm still just not seeing that. And again, I've defended Drake. I like a lot of Drake music. So I hope that people watch this and are like, oh, this guy's just Kendrick dick riding. I like both of them. I wanted Drake to pop back and get back into the beef, but we know his track history, and it's just not very good recently. So that's the way I feel about the Drake album personally. And Party, I've been on the.
It's not all Party's not for Party.
It's not his
Party's
fault.
not for everybody, but at the same time, I understand people that like were excited for this because Party's not for everybody, right? I'm not even the biggest PARTYNEXTDOOR fan, but I loved P4 that just came out last year. I put in my albums of the year. I love P4.
Yeah.
But this don't even compare to it. Like, it's, like I said, it's really just Drake featuring Party, and I don't know, it's cool. I got my 3 or 4 tracks, and I'm gonna just leave it at that. I'm not really gonna try to compare it to Kendrick's project.
Well,
even though people like you and a lot of other people are already starting to.
I'm not trying to compare them. Like I said, they're different albums. But another thing I do want to say about it was some of the controversy that came up with it, of like how they stole the idea for the album cover from another artist. They also used Freddie Gibbs, and then there was another artist from Toronto. I think he's a rapper that Party had like reached out to, asked him about like the music video he had shot in front of those 2 towers, and then basically like told him that if you don't want to get blackballed, you basically gotta like pay homage to me and like let me use this. And yeah, just I don't know, just. Again, very sketchy shit on Drake's side that like doesn't help anything.
I think a lot of that has much to do about nothing. Like that second part with the other artists, bigger artists do that all the fucking time, bro. They do that all the time. If it's true, they do that shit all the time. That's the norm.
Stealing like that, just straight up.
I don't think it's stealing. But at the same time, artists like that get inspiration from smaller artists all the time, and that's how the music industry works. If you're not as big as me, buck aside, I'm taking that shit. Like, that's just how it goes. As far as the Gibbs stuff, I mean, I definitely see a little bit of the influence when it comes to using the money signs and the bunnies, but at the same time, it's a little too vague to say that Drake or Party are ripping off of Gibbs. You know, I don't know. That's how I feel about it.
Man, oh well, I was actually kind of surprised to hear that because I know how big of a Freddie Gibbs fan you are too. So.
I am. Yeah.